Hey guys, what is going on, and welcome back to another episode of Premier League Talk. What a weekend we have had in the Premier League. Hugely consequential, with some massive results for certain teams going their way. Obviously, we do have to remember that there is Monday Night Football taking place tonight. Sunderland take on Everton at 8 p.m. at the Stadium of Light, so we need to remember that. But let's delve into the three games I've chosen to look at further. First and foremost, where else to start but with the London derby of Spurs versus Chelsea, which took place at 5:30 on Saturday night. Now, obviously, the scoreline was only 1-0 to Chelsea, a huge away win for them, which made it 3 wins in a row at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium for the Blues. But we have to take into account that this performance from both sides was massive, and it told us a lot about who they are as teams. So we'll start with Chelsea. 52% of the ball doesn't really give you the impression that the game was as dominant as it was, especially considering they only won 1-0. 9 shots on target though, and with the ball, I have to say they were phenomenal. They look a complete team. It's all just about the consistency with Chelsea. Obviously, they can go away to Spurs and win 1-0. They can go away to Nottingham Forest and win 3-0, which, yes, although Forest weren't on the best of form at the time, it's still a tough thing to do. But then they've also got it in them to go and lose at home to Sunderland, which, again, I'm not trying to take anything away from Sunderland, but you'd expect Chelsea to be picking up 3 points in a game like that. And yeah, as I say, it's all about consistency. It's all about being clinical as well for Chelsea. I feel like they've still got a very young squad. So over time, you'd expect that to come. But for example, Bino Gittins missed an absolute sitter towards the end of the match, and João Pedro also had a chance saved by Vicario from point blank range, which he should really have put it away. So the scoreline could have been much more, but at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter. As I say all the time, all that matters is picking up the 3 points, and they definitely did that. But the one player I want to focus in on for Chelsea is not the player you can see in this photo. It's the one on the floor, Moises Caicedo, who I thought was utterly unreal, and definitely for me in the conversation to be the best holding midfielder on the planet right now. I mean, 7 recoveries he made, and he was also, for me, Chelsea's best player. He got 1 assist as well, but 7 recoveries, that's getting up, winning the ball back. He genuinely, for me, looks like a Kante regen. You know, he's got the legs to go everywhere, cover every blade of grass on the pitch. He's utterly unbelievable, and completely fair play to Chelsea. Obviously, it's his 3rd season now with the Blues. It's taken him a bit of time, I think, to settle into the team. Obviously, he came for a huge price tag of over £100 million from Brighton. So you'd expect a player like that to hit the ground running. Obviously, it hasn't gone that way, but he's starting to showcase that price tag now. And I mean, what a player he is turning out to be. If we move to Spurs, though, I mean, it was a dismal performance. And 48% of the ball gives them more credit than they actually did, but they only had 1 shot on target. And defensively, they were shambles. They kept giving the ball away. They looked so open at the back. And Vicario was their man of the match, ultimately. He had a good game, I thought. There's been a lot of criticism of him recently, but I thought he was all right on Saturday night. And yeah, I mean, they were just dreadful. Really poor to watch. And you know, they were sitting in the top 4 before this weekend. Their home form though is just, it's appalling. I mean, I think the last time they won a game at home was the opening day of the season. So they really need to start to work on that, because their away form has ultimately been the thing that had them in the top 4 before this weekend. And you know, Thomas Frank, I have full faith in him being able to turn it around ultimately, because I think he's a top quality manager. But you know, defensively, which is a part of the pitch that Thomas Frank prides himself on, they were so open. And then obviously you had the incident between Thomas Frank and Mickey van der Ven and Jed Spence, which didn't look good. They just completely blanked him in an attempt to walk around down the tunnel rather than going and clapping the fans, which you can understand because obviously they were appalling. But at the end of the day, I think you can't black the manager like that. And at the end of the day, fans paid hard-earned money. I will not stick up for Tottenham. They are the last club I want to stick up for, but I will stick up for their fans here. The fans have paid a lot of money to go and watch that. It's a London derby, a huge game, one of Tottenham's biggest fixtures in their calendar against Chelsea. And for the players not to go around and at least apologise to the fans for the shocking performance they put in, I thought was unacceptable, to put it blankly. But hey ho, yeah. So what a performance for Chelsea! A massive 3 points. The next game we should look at is Liverpool versus Aston Villa, the 8 p.m. kickoff on Saturday night. Thank you, Premier League, for giving us an 8 p.m. kickoff, obviously, because we didn't have Friday night football this week. But a massive 3 points for Liverpool that catapults them up to third in the table. And ultimately, they look more energetic. They look more back to themselves, especially with Ryan Gravenberch back in the midfield. And who can forget that Mo Salah has now got 250 goals for the club. He becomes only the third player to do so, and that is 2 goals in 2 games for him. It's great he started to pick up a run of consistency after what's been a really tough start to the season for him. And I'm sure he'll be hoping, to continue this form now. They've got Real Madrid tomorrow night in the Champions League, which will be a huge game at Anfield. Trent returning as well, so the atmosphere will be absolutely raucous. I thought, in terms of the goals, Liverpool got quite lucky. Obviously, Martinez gave it straight to Salah for the first goal, and then it was just mistakes playing out from the back from Villa that allowed Liverpool to capitalise. But at the end of the day, you've got to be there to capitalise, and as I said, they still look very open at the back. Morgan Rogers obviously hitting the post within the first 4 minutes, and I didn't think Konate and Van Dijk looked solid. But at the end of the day, they got a clean sheet. Great performance from them. Mamdashvili made an unbelievable save as well in the first half. So I can't remember, I think it was Manny Cash hit a deflected shot. And it got deflected, and Mamdashvili recovered really well to tip it over the bar. Look, massive 3 points, as I say, up into third. I think Villa got it completely wrong. Unai Emery got it completely wrong. They were still trying to play out from the back, which is a style of play that we've seen Liverpool have a lot of success against, especially last season. If you look at the first half, their press is so aggressive, so quick, so energetic that they're able to win the ball back high up the pitch, and that's what happened yesterday. It gave them 2 goals. Whereas this season we've seen them struggle against teams that are playing long ball, set pieces, long throw-ins, for example. They can't seem to win the first ball, let alone the second ball. And I think that would have given Villa much more of a chance to pick up something from Anfield, which again, you've got to take it in context. It's a hard place to go, and you can't knock Villa for it. And especially Emery, he's a man who likes to play his style of football, so fair play to him for giving it a go. But at the end of the day, I think there was a chance for Villa to pick something up if they changed their style, which unfortunately they didn't. But yeah, as I say, massive result for Liverpool. Up into third now, behind Man City and Arsenal. They'll be looking to keep it going, their run of form, but ultimately they could be fourth tonight if Sunderland win. So still lots to work on, but a good result. And then finally, we have West Ham United versus Newcastle. West Ham running out 3-1 winners at the London Stadium to pick up their first points under Nuno Espirito Santo, who really needed that. And you can tell by his celebrations at full time. Massive result for the Hammers. And you know what? They fully deserved it. They played exceptionally well. Caicedo was fantastic yesterday. Bowen as well. Obviously, West Ham's leading light. I mean, he is phenomenal every time he plays in that shirt. He carries the team. He's the embodiment of that club. Hard work, energy. He was unlucky not to score yesterday. He hit the post with a great effort. But as I say, Paqueta getting a goal, and then I think it was Fabian Schär as well, who scored an own goal, which was unfortunate for him. Massive result for West Ham. They're up to 18th now. 1 place they've jumped on, 7 points, still 3 points away from safety, because the team in 17th have got 10 points, so they'll be looking to continue that. And they've got Burnley at home next weekend, so they'll be hoping to pick up 3 points there. But yeah, huge result for Nuno, a massive confidence booster for the team, because obviously they've been so poor recently. Even under Nuno, they've been poor, so massive to get a result. But we cannot take away from the fact that Newcastle were utterly dreadful yesterday. They were lucky not to find themselves 1-0 down. As I said, Bowen hits the post, and then they got the other end, and Guimarães opens the scoring for Newcastle. Standard counter-attacking goal for them, but they did have 64% of the ball, but that really paints a false picture. I mean, in my opinion, they were utterly dreadful watching the game. And Eddie Howe obviously came out afterwards and had a scathing rant about, not rant, but he was not best pleased, let's say that. Newcastle, who had looked so promising, beating Spurs 2-0 midweek in the Carabao Cup. Obviously, this is quite a way to bring yourselves back down to earth, and they'll be looking to turn around their form moving forward in the season as they look to try and push for Europe again. But I don't think, to be honest, they're going to get Europe, especially not Champions League, through the league. So it'll be interesting to see how they get on. Massive 3 points for the Hammers. So thank you very much for watching this episode of Premier League Talk, guys. massive weekend, as I say. Great results for Liverpool, West Ham and Chelsea. This is the table for the end of game week 10. I believe we're 10 games in now. It's unreal. As I say, Sunderland and Everton are yet to play, so they've still both only played 9 games, and Sunderland can go second if they beat Everton tonight. But Arsenal obviously continue to lead the way, 5 points clear. Man City currently in second, 6 points behind them. Liverpool 1 point behind Man City, so still really in there. You think about it in terms of chasing down Man City. Wolves remain rock bottom. They have sacked Vitor Pereira now after they were battered 3-0 by Fulham. They remain bottom. Nottingham Forest and West Ham also continue to make up the relegation places, even though they both got positive results this weekend. And yeah, massive weekend. We look forward to next weekend. We've got Champions League action midweek. Yeah, we'll see how it goes. But yeah, I will see you next weekend after another week of Premier League football, and then it's an international break. So thank you very much for watching. Cheers.